right, I think that's it. All right. Alrighty. Hello, everyone. My name is Joni Girardi. I'm DataSelf's founder and CEO. I also have with me Clark. Clark, would you please introduce yourself and turn the webcam on?
Greetings and good day. My name is Clark Walliser. I've been with DataSelf about 2 years now. Come out of the ERP consulting industry, worked as an end user in distribution, manufacturing, etc., and then as an ERP consultant. And now I'm part of the business intelligence community.
We're trying to make Clark a data geek, but he's resisting.
Never. I'm concerned that it works for everybody out in the real world, Johnny. It's wonderful, though. It does work, and that's why I'm here. That's just for the record.
There you go. Clark will come bring a lot of his experience on the distribution world and talk about how analytics overall has been helping companies. Our webinar overall is talk about concepts. We're trying to give you as much education as possible. In the process, we also will be talking how we do it. So hopefully you're going to find some education out of it, even if you do not use DataSelf. We'll talk about analytics for distribution companies. We're going to talk about how natural language, machine learning, artificial intelligence, and analytics overall adds value. The first good news for companies is organizations have a lot of valuable data in their systems. Probably if you're in this webinar, you're using one of these ERP systems, Acumatica, Microsoft, Sage, NetSuite. But most likely you or your clients have other systems, Excel, very common data source for reporting, or maybe Google Sheets, CRM systems, HubSpot, e-commerce. I mean, every company nowadays, if you look at how many digital systems they use to run their business between payroll, social media, and whatnot, there's usually dozens of different systems run by companies. DataSelf, we are a small business and we have more than 20 different systems. And when we're trying to understand what's happening with our client base, the many touch points of our clients and partners with DataSelf, to have a full picture of what's going on, you got to go through different systems. So this is, the what we call the data house divided. We're not talking about politics. It's about the data house divided. You have data all over the place. And if you're trying to look at your information consistently, it's challenging. We hear, prospects coming to us and saying, no, they are flying blind. They have the data, is right there in their systems, but when they have a new question about the operations and they need a new report, good luck. It can take hours, days, even weeks to get the report. And sometimes when the report is ready, it's too late. The question was from 2 weeks ago. Now it's irrelevant. So flying blind is a common complaint that people have in using analytics solution. Data warehousing overall can tackle them. The other complaint we hear a lot of people not using data warehousing analytics is what is called the Excel hell. Excel is a great tool. Nothing wrong with Excel, absolutely not. But the concept of Excel hell is when people build their reports using whatever tool, Excel, Crystal, reporting services, or some kind of built-in reporting tool in the ERP system, and then different reports built by different people using whatever they thought was the right rule. And when you look at the report, you don't know when the report was refreshed. You don't know why the numbers are not matching between the two reports. So not having a consolidated way to manage reports is very hard to keep what is called a single version of the truth. And one of the ways to call this confusion is Excel hell, even if you don't use Excel. Very common complaint. And finally, many people say that reporting, overall reporting maintenance is very labor intensive. Companies use hours and hours of people sometimes working every day, every week or every month to, combine data, do calculations, validate the data is correct, email reports to different people, And when you do things manually, it's error prone. So labor intensive and a lot of mistakes in the process. So that's another major complaint. A popular way to tackle these three problems, flying blind, um, um, Excel hell, and labor intensive, is by using data warehousing technology in some kind of high-end analytics platform. I'm going to be talking about the DataSelf components here, but if you use data warehousing in high-end analytics platforms, you're pretty much, if you do it right, you'll be tackling those three problems. So in our architecture is, your source systems, your ERP, your CRM, whatever it is, usually those systems, they do not take care of, complex labor-intensive reporting. They're not very good for that. So the idea is you take the data out of them and you put in a separate database, a data warehouse. A data warehouse is a wonderful platform to tackle repetitive reporting tasks. You can tell the computer what to do on a recurring basis, so you don't have people to do it. Data warehousing used to be an expensive, complex technology. Nowadays, with the latest and greatest, with companies like DataSelf, you can literally deploy data warehousing in less than an hour. So data warehousing today is easier, simpler, and still very powerful for tackling those issues. Now, data warehousing is a data geek tool. Alone, it covers part of the problem. Typically, you have to add a layer called the high-end analytics layer. And tools like Tableau and Power BI, right now, they are the top 2 tools in the Fortune 2000 world considered for easier reporting and analytics. So we highly encourage you to look at those tools to tackle easy access to your data anytime and anywhere. So this technology usually will dramatically, cut down your problems with the flying blind, Excel hell, and labor-intensive reporting. And if you get a solution from a vendor like DataSelf, where you have an out-of-the-box solution, then typically the time to value is even greater. DataSelf, we have 2 versions, an entry-level version with dozens of reports and dashboards, very powerful, very enlightening, very inexpensive. And the enterprise version of DataSelf has more than 5,000 reports and dashboards ready to go on day 1. So this kind of technology, very helpful to address those issues. Now we're going to be showing this technology applied to distribution companies. We're going to show the concept of the Data House United, how out-of-the-box KPIs from BI vendors like DataSelf can help you focus on critical initiatives and how easy they become once you use high-end technology. We'll show you also in our framework the natural language component that has artificial intelligence, machine learning to help better decision-making process. We show customizations in how to do report distribution. Having said that, now I'm switching to the DataSelf portal. Again, you can use your own technology to build things from scratch or some other vendors. But the idea is when a user logs to their BI portal, each user will have rights to access whatever they have rights to. So in this example, I'm playing the role of, I don't know, the CEO, the CFO, and I have access to several different data silos. My sales, my CRM, my e-commerce, marketing tools, more, inventory management tools, payroll, everything in a single location. So you just go to whatever you want. The same credentials, you have access to all information that management needs to make better decisions. Without this, what would happen is management will have to go to log into their ERP to get some of their data. They'll have to log into their CRM and then log into the payroll system and then log into their Google Analytics, every system with a different reporting with different credentials. With a BI tool, with data warehousing, you have all of them in a data house united. As you can see here, the data house is no longer divided, is united. Now, let me show some examples that with DataSelf we have built out of the box, and we encourage you to either build from scratch or leverage something like DataSelf. I'm going to start with this dashboard called the account touch points. What is account touch points from a distribution standpoint? Well, many distribution companies, they have a pipeline that the salespeople are managing the pipeline. Maybe you're doing this management in a CRM system like Salesforce, Acumatica CRM, Sage CRM, or maybe you're doing Excel sheets, or maybe you're just doing your ERP as quotes. But anyhow, there's some kind of, opportunity management. But then each client of yours or prospect, you have several other touch points with them. You have exchange of information with them, emails and calls. You might already have sales with the customer. You might have receivables open and some late. And if you're trying to understand all of these different touch points of your client with your business in a single page, that sometimes is very challenging if you're not using a data warehousing solution. This out-of-the-box dashboard is exactly that idea. So right here, we have on the top left, my accounts. I see open opportunities, from CRM, from the Excel sheet, whatever it is, just showing what's open opportunity by each one of my accounts, things that I'm trying to close. Then I can see how many interactions I had with each one of these clients in the last 7 days, how many emails, how many phone calls. Of course, you got to track those things somewhere so we can put it here, typically in a CRM system. Then you can see what is in open sales orders, what's going to be shipping to these customers, how much sales you have for this customer, in this case, in this year, or maybe in this quarter, or maybe the last few weeks, whatever it is. You can see the open receivables for customer, and if something is late in the receivables. So a high-level perspective of each customer with several touch points. We can easily add here even more. If you want to add something from, what else we can add here? HubSpot, what marketing emails these people have been clicking on. Absolutely. Once you bring the data to the data warehouse, you can plug to a dashboard like this. Now, this dashboard also has other widgets that give you insight into these different KPIs. So let's say, suppose I'm looking at my customers and I see that this particular one that I have 36 grand in open opportunities, in opportunities, they actually have quite a bit of, late AR aging. How about that? Maybe you need to revise this situation and see, hey, if you don't pay your bill, we're not gonna, this opportunity is not gonna go out of the door. So I'm gonna click on this particular customer here or account, and automatically my whole dashboard changes to show the details of this opportunity, everything about the details I can put in this widget. I have the actual sales for this customer in the current, period, in this case, year to date. I have the open aging, including which one is late. I have the invoice number, I have the dates, and I also see all the communication that have been done with this client recently. In my simple system, I'm actually using Acumatica feeding my system, but what I'm going to show you next would work the same way from any other sources that allow to go from a dashboard into their own system, like, Salesforce and NetSuite. So I look at this email here and, hey, what exactly did I email with this person? Or what if the account manager, in this case is Theo, talk with this customer? I can click on this link and automatically the tool will open a URL, a code URL that will open the source system and open that particular, in this case, email. It could be an invoice, it could be a sales order, it could be anything. The point is, once you have a BI tool with data warehousing and using these high-end analytics tools, you can take any data in your data silos, in your data house divided, bring them together in your data house united, and then plug into widgets of dashboards like this. So this is a kind of a high-level perspective of the data house united. And now I'll let Clark take over and proceed with his part of the presentation. And Clark, by the way, I need to give you mouse control. I'm not sure if I need to, oh, there it is. Hold on a second. Give mouse control. All right, give it a shot.
I love being able to control those mice. Go eat the cheese. Okay, so we've been talking about different reporting options here, and I'm going to step back one step. I come from the ERP world. Okay, there we go. I come from the ERP world and actually working in manufacturing and distribution companies. So I'm pretty fairly applied on this. And, earlier Joni mentioned and I mentioned, I'm not a data geek, but I need those data geeks to provide what you just saw. That is important information. So I just want to put that out there. One thing, another little angle on this that you might not think about, over the years, I've gone through where we start off on system A, then we upgrade or change to system B. Well, system A had its own reporting system, then we go to system B and we have to redo the reporting system and everything like that. With external data warehouses and systems like this, you have the ability to just reconnect all of your data points from your old system to your new system, and then all of your existing reporting continues on. That's a big advantage of using an external data warehouse and reporting system instead of only the ones in the ERP. Just wanted to bring that into play. Now we're looking first of all at the inventory planning, dealing with distribution companies. In my kingdom for a horseshoe, my business for lack of a product to sell. One of the first things we look at is inventory planning, and this is a view quickly by product number, showing by week and giving you projections of what's on hand today, what's on a work order or purchase order supply coming in, what is on sales orders as projected demand, what are your calculated sales projections of how many you're going to sell each week, and then you're projected on hand, and then compared to your minimum on hand requirements from your ERP system. So it calculates what you are going to be over or short based upon those projections. Now, the ones I worry about are the red ones, because red means short. So if you have an item, and I'm looking only at my A items, so if I am short on A items, that's a big caution flag to me. Be careful. You can look at looking at things comparing sales to year to like trailing months. You can control how you do your on-hand projection calculation. Some ERP systems will configure that your projected on-hand quantities different ways, so you can adapt to that. As I said, you can look at only your A items, B items, C items, depending on how you configure those. You can control which warehouses or locations you want to look at. But again, this is a quick way to see out of all of my products, what am I going to be short on? And so that's, then you can go ahead and act. You can you can highlight just one item and get down to the detailed data behind the scenes, etc., to get the full picture. Just wanted to point that out. So now if we look next, we're going to look at the sales part of it. We'll go to the year-over-year sales. So first piece, I want to make sure I'm not running short on things that I'm going to need. I'm looking at my A items, etc. That's a critical thing. You don't want to lose all of your sales because of you're missing a key component. Now, sales year over year gives the ability to track your trends quickly. This year's sales is dark blue. Last year's sales is light blue. So I can see my trends. You can see last year's sales patterns was very different from this year's sales patterns. Well, why are the patterns different from one year to the next? What has changed besides COVID and fires and extreme, ice storms in Texas, etc. And you get a quick look at your variance in sales dollars and the variance by a percentage. So you can see what's going on. You also see between year over year, where your sales have grown by the gray bubbles versus where sales have decreased by the red bubbles. So it shows you geographic trends, etc. You can track by each customer, see what they were, what their sales were last year versus this year, and the variance between the 2 years. You have the ability to go ahead and sort that information. I can sort by the variance in descending order. So now I'm looking at my top customers that have grown over the last 2 years. Or if I sort it again, I can sort in ascending order by variance, and now I can see these are the customers that I'm losing sales between last year and this year. If I look at one customer, I click on that customer, the analytics tools oftentimes will have interaction between the different objects on the dashboard. So I highlighted one customer. Now I can see the patterns and information about that one customer and which products that customer purchased. I'm drilling down in that. I want to see which products were the lowest to the highest in sales. This is my biggest customer where I've lost sales from last year to this year. And I can see down to 3 products that were my biggest changed products where sales are much lower this year than last year. You can build patterns, you can imply patterns from that and kind of build a story and figure out what's going on and how to respond to that. So many little pieces you can go to there. Next, let's go ahead and look at hot and cold. These are, to me, very useful views. Who's on fire? Your customers that are the top customers this year. It's comparing by sales, and you can choose period 1 and period 2 in the upper right-hand corner. When you're comparing things that are heating up or cooling down, you want to say, first of all, comparing one time range to another time range. So that's where you control your periods of time that you're comparing. And so this is showing your top 25 customers in that second period. That's good because now you can see these are the high sales customers. However, on the right-hand side, these are not necessarily your top customers right now, but these are the customers where their sales have increased between period 2 and period 1. So their sales have gotten much higher in the last section. And so they might become contenders for your next top customers. It gives you a snapshot of what's happening and who to look at. You can control on the right, you could select only certain products or only certain customers to look at that information. You can go ahead and drill down and see I could make my first dimension that I'm comparing things by customers. So if I selected, I want to look at my products. It changes the entire view to look at products. And now I can see my top 25 products by sales and my products heating up. So these are the using the features to make it as flexible as possible in one view are characteristics of a good analytics tool. On the second side, what's hot is good. What's cold is actually more important to me because these are the people where the sales are declining from one year to the next. When I was working in the business, I wasn't always paying attention to who I did not talk to. I tended to, focus on the people that were active in there. But then one client disappears and, well, all of a sudden, wait a minute, what happened to them? This is showing you very quickly clients that have purchased much less in the second period than they did in the first period. Now, if there were any clients in here that had not purchased anything in period 2, then that would become a big flag that their sales have just completely stopped in the current period you're looking for. Right now, there's nobody in there, but if I was to change these dates, then I might get records in there. You can go ahead and check it by product or by customer. I can see that my filter from my hot report pulled over to my cold report. So now I'm going to select my customer, and there we go. My top customer, my customers or sales are declining, and now I have customers showing that there are no sales in my second period selected. This gives you the opportunity to identify who those customers are and to follow up and be a little proactive with them. One other report that I think is useful is called a daily flash report. It's number 14 right there, daily flash. When I was working in the retail industry, this is how we looked at things on a day-by-day basis. By default, this view will show you for the current day or maybe the prior day, depending on how your system is set up. And it's showing me just a snapshot of, at this point in time, what were my sales for the day, my COGS, gross profit dollars, gross margin percent, and my total units sold. I might have key indicators that I want to always maintain a gross profit percent of 42 or 38 or whatever. And this gives you a quick look to see on a daily basis what I'm looking at, what my numbers were. I can go ahead and check, select any day I want, and it will reconfigure for that day. I can take a look at particular customers, and when I drill down on highlight that single customer, it shows me the information for that one customer. So I can quickly see this customer, I'm making a 53% margin. The second customer down, I'm making a 30% margin, etc. So you have the ability to select individual customers. You can also select on individual products and see the results of that. I'm selecting an individual product, and I can see my margin, units sold, and what customers I sold it to on that day. On the right, I can see the individual transactions, so I can get down to the detail. To me, it's a useful tool to get a quick snapshot of how am I doing overall, and it enables me to drill down to get more detail. I can see my locations where it was sold, etc. That's about it for me right now, Johnny. I'll let you take over.
Thank you, Clark. An observation about the daily flash. Many of our clients, when they were assessing DataSelf and they talked about the flying blind problem, a very specific problem was management was saying that it would usually take days, sometimes weeks, and even months to learn that something important happened in their business, something really good or something really bad. The data was there, but they never saw that problem. And they've been saying this management, this more data-driven management, that they need to be aware of important change in their business as things happen. They don't have to wait for a meeting. They don't have to wait for days, weeks, or months to figure out something bad or good will happen. They want to see it as it happens. The daily flash is a very important concept that you should be building in your systems for something like this, to keep management abreast of things. And you can do a daily flash report for the salespeople, for the VP of sales, another one for the CEO, another one for the COO. The point is, daily flash is important. What Clark has been showing is what we have available out of the box on day one, but the concepts are very important. Anyhow, moving along, so Clark showed some reports and dashboards that are usually valuable for distribution companies. If you're using technology like what we're showing here, you should also be able to provide natural language query to your users. What is natural language query? Natural language query is like Google or Bing. You go to a place, you type in a question about what you're looking for, and the solution will give you an answer. In BI, the answer is a report. And if you know how to articulate the question that the computer will understand, just like in Google, you gotta learn how the computer thinks. But if you articulate the question and the computer has the answer, you get an instant, accurate answer to that question. And when you're using data warehousing and technology like this, any data in the data warehouse becomes a source of your natural language query framework. Let me show an example looking at my sales. So suppose I'm the VP of sales, I come to this natural language functionality, let's say in DataSelf, and I say, I want to see sales by salesperson in 2020. So just a question in English. By the way, you got to know English. Right now is the only requirement. But then the tool will give you hits. Like when you're searching the internet, you have several hits, and then you choose which one is right. You read the one that matches what you're looking for, you click on it, and the tool will build instantly, accurately, a report with the answer. Like in this example, by salesperson in 2020, it gave the sales in a descending order. This is not magic. This is natural language, artificial intelligence, machine learning, working behind the scenes to help people who don't have time to learn more complicated reporting design to find answers to their questions anytime, anywhere. The only requirement is knowing English and being able to type the question. Very empowering. And hey, what if I want to see by month? Sure, you type by month. The tool will try to understand, give you options. You choose the right option. In this case, is this one. And then now, by salesperson, you give me a line chart. It's showing in 2020 sales by month. Maybe I don't like to see charts. I want to see a grid. I can go and say, show me a text table instead. And now the tool gave me that information in a text table format. Very empowering. It's not a magic wand. It will not answer complex questions, but a lot of, simple, straightforward questions like I've been showing you, it will give you an instant, accurate answer. And it's easy to get the information out. Hey, maybe I want to see my January sales by salesperson and get this data into, I don't know, Excel or some other tool. So I just selected those data points, and I tell the tool, get these data points into a different framework and allow me to export all the details into Excel. With a few clicks, I exported all the data into Excel. And now, if I want to do things in Excel, I have all the sales in Excel, and I can do whatever I want in Excel. So natural language is also a popular way for people to find data that they want and then download in something else to do whatever else they want to do in the other tool. So this natural language framework, many tools out there, Tableau and Power BI, both of them provide an amazing natural language framework. And when you combine those tools with a data warehouse, the data geek magic happens. It's amazing. Now, what I'm going to show you next is the report editor. So when Clark was showing you reports and dashboards available out of the box in DataSelf, he was showing you pre-configured reports and dashboards. But how can one design these dashboards? How easy or how complicated it is? In the next 10 minutes, I'm going to show a very tangible example that will show you something like this. You bring a lot of data sources together, you just drag and drop, and you build a dashboard that will have answers to your questions using the report editor. So now I'm going to switch to a different page where I have the report editor. Let me just reload this page. This report editor that I'm showing you is the Tableau engine that is part of the DataSelf framework. If you go with DataSelf using our default approach, it's just part of it. You don't have to buy anything else. It's all part of DataSelf framework. Or if you're ordering Tableau separately or Power BI, you can also have this kind of functionality. Anyhow, in this example, I am with the report editor connected to 3 of my data sources. I have opportunities from my CRM, I have sales from the ERP, and sales order from my ERP as well. I want to build a simple report just to show some of the mechanics of a new report from scratch. I want to see sales in open sales order by customer. And then I want to see sales by geography and put this information together in a dashboard and make it interactive. That's what I'm going to show you in the next few minutes. So first of all, I want to see sales by customer. So I have in my sales data source, connect to my sales in my ERP. Here's my customer. I drag the report into rows, just drag and drop, and now you get all the salespeople from your database. I want to see sales, so I want to find the sales measure, and I just drag and drop into my report. And there it is, sales by customer. I also want to see open sales order by customer. Well, open sales order is in a different module in my ERP, but in DataSelf, it's part of my Data House United. It's right here. I select my sales order with all these parameters, and I just find the open amount, which is right here, and I drag and drop. And there it is. By customer, I have open amount and I have sales order. Maybe I want to see open opportunities by customer, and then I could go to the CRM opportunities, drag and drop, and there it is. It's that easy to make things like this. There's a lot of things that you can do that are more complicated, but a lot of the, we say about 80% of the custom reporting needs of the average company, it's a drag and drop away in putting a few filters. So this one report, I want to create another report. It's going to show me sales by ship to state. I'm going to choose ship to state in my sales. So just 2 data points, and I want to see this on a map. Very popular among salespeople to see by territory what's happening. And in this example, the bigger the bubble, the bigger the sales by territory. And then now I want to put these 2 different widgets into a dashboard that is interactive. So now I'm going to click and say, I want to see a dashboard, and I want to see my tabular report on the left and my map on the right. And let me get rid of these bubbles. So there it is. And actually, let me make this to auto fit the screen. So whatever is the size of your screen is going to automatically adjust itself. And that's my new dashboard. By customer, I see open sales order and sales. I'm going to save this report, which I already call Sales Dashboard 1. I save it. And now I have a new report from scratch. And if I close it, I close and I tell my sales team, hey guys, go and search for my dashboard 1, which was the name that I called this dashboard. I think it's space 1. There it is. And I'm going to click this dashboard that I just created. So now I'm no longer in the edit mode. I am in the view mode. And actually, I open another one. Sorry. Looks like I have more than one. So let me try again. Dashboard number 1. And I think this should be it. And I think this is the one I just created. Technology. There you go. So the report that I just created as a viewer, I don't know how to edit, I don't know how to change, but I know how to use it. I can open this dashboard in my mobile device, in my tablet, in my smartphone. And suppose I am responsible for the East Coast of the country. I could, using my finger, my mobile device, and select the states that I'm responsible for. And when I select it, what happens is it filters to shows me the customers that I'm dealing with. So highly interactive dashboard that it took me a couple of minutes to build from scratch, combining different data sources. And that's the power when you're using data warehousing technology as well as high-end analytics tools. If you're not using data warehousing and analytics tools, I betcha you're not taking advantage of this kind of power. And decision makers today, they need easy access to information to make more informed decisions, to fight the internal corporate fake news, to fight the internal corporate fake news. So highly encourage you to pursue this. Finally, okay, I built this dashboard. It was very interactive. I can look in mobile device, whatnot. But what if I don't want to go to the dashboard? I want the dashboard to come to me when I want it. In other words, I want to distribute this report or this dashboard automatically on a schedule or when something happens. How can I do it? Do I need to call someone to tell what they want, how they want, and wait? Yes, that's the one option. But you can enable your users to have the subscribe button on the user interface. So as a user, I can click subscribe, and then I'm going to tell who's going to receive this dashboard. Clark for sure. I'm going to add Zach and all my people. I want to myself as well. Do we want to receive everything? Can be a workbook. Maybe you want to send your financials, your financial booklet at the end of the month or the quarter for all people. Then you have a workbook with several, maybe dozens of tabs showing different things in a single workbook, and you send the whole workbook for these people as a PDF, call whatever one you want to email, and send it, let's say every week at Monday, 5 a.m. and click subscribe. And that's it. Distributing reports can be completely self-service, or you can have admin people to configure who's going to receive when. Again, high-end BI technology to make repetitive reporting tasks something that computers will do, so your team can focus on what only humans can do, which is using their brain for improving life in the community. Alrighty, so let me go back to my PowerPoint. So I kind of showed the Data House United, the KPIs we have a little out of the box for distribution companies, natural language, customization, report distribution. Now, if you were to go with DataSelf, again, you can use other vendors, build yourself, but if you go with DataSelf, how easy would be to get the out of the box we showed you today. There's a lot more, but we show you the basics. How much effort and money would take you to get DataSelf out of the box up and running? Well, it takes minutes to deploy what we showed you today out of many popular systems like Acumatica, Sage, NetSuite, Microsoft, and whatnot. You can order your DataSelf directly from our website, or you can also contact your VAR. You'll get a process to deploy DataSelf. If you have on-premises system, it takes a 5-step process to deploy DataSelf. If you have a cloud-to-cloud system, you don't have to deploy anything. We'll just be exchanging some credentials, and once the system has been refreshed, usually can take a few hours. Off you go. Your DataSelf advanced analytics is up and running. So deploying DataSelf out of the box is a fairly straight process. Again, usually it's minutes away. Part of our magic, the DataSelf magic, is using DataSelf ETL. ETL stands for extraction, transformation, and loading. It's a tool that is designed to make data warehousing simple, powerful, and inexpensive. As I mentioned, data warehouse used to be expensive, complex, a nightmare. It's no longer that way. If you use modern ETL tools like ours, it's easier, it's fast, it's inexpensive. You still need to have a data geek in-house to do maintenance of the data warehouse. So it's not easy, it's easier. But as I mentioned, in half an hour, you can deploy your DataSelf data warehouse, leverage our ETL Plus, and it's an amazing tool that we're going to make even better as we move forward. So if you want to learn more about our ETL, please contact us. How much does DataSelf cost? Well, the entry level of DataSelf, which is called Advanced Analytics, it starts at $299 per month, and there's a 14-day free trial. We also have the Enterprise Analytics, which is a more comprehensive solution. The Advanced Analytics comes with dozens of reports and dashboards, and everything you saw today is part of this fee. It includes 10 users. If you go to Enterprise that we did not show today, you get thousands of reports and dashboards available out of the box in a lot more functionality in case those make sense. Typically, if you're a larger business, large data volume, multi-company, sometimes Those are the things that sometimes drive the technology to use the enterprise and not the advanced analytics. Alrighty, having said that, we're going to open the questions and answer session. So please use the Zoom panel to ask questions. Before we check questions, just to review what we covered here today, we highly encourage you to use data warehousing in high-end analytics tools like Tableau and Power BI to have your data houses united. And hopefully what you saw today in our demo will give you a hint into the power you can give to your management for better decision, in the power you're going to be giving to your IT, your business analysts, the people who today are doing your reporting. You're going to become a lot more effective using their brain for what people can do, and let the mechanical part of reporting dashboards to be automated by a high-end data warehousing and analytics platform. You should strive to make easy access to KPIs to your management. Again, Power BI and Tableau are an amazing tool to do that. Excel, also very popular. Many of our clients use Excel as the way to get the data out. When you plug Excel to a data warehouse, you pretty much get out of the Excel hell and you become into the Excel heaven. So using data warehouse as the back end and Excel as the front end, you can have Excel heaven. Even though, again, Tableau and Power BI, they are much easier and more empowering when it comes to non-techies to see their own reports and dashboards. With this kind of technology, pretty much anything that is mechanical and repetitive that usually humans do, most likely, most of them, sometimes all of them, would be completely automated by the data warehouse and the analytics tool. So dramatically reduce labor-intensive reporting using this kind of technology. If you're looking for BI, look for tools that already have a mature natural language, artificial intelligence, and machine learning engines. Tableau and Power BI, which are the two leaders, each one of them, they have this engine that is about 5-year-old or older. So it's still young as a technology, but in 5 years, they came a very, very long way. I see many companies looking at their BI investment without looking at this. And to me, I'm not sure you're looking at the right angle. If you have a BI, you make a lot of investment and you don't have natural language, really? I would say just think straight. Maybe, give us a call to talk about it to see if it makes sense. Maybe we're just crazy data geeks, or maybe not. So feel free to call us to see, hey, but it's more affordable, the other two. We don't care about natural language. Let's talk about it. I think if you hear our stories of how this can be empowering, you might realize the extra cost is actually really worth it. With ours, again, deploys in minutes. Our competitors, as far as I know, most of them take hours, sometimes days, and even weeks. So we try to make it easy and affordable, and our starting price is very affordable. Alrighty, having said that, let's see if we have questions. The QA section here. Looks like they changed again. The interface, Zoom is changing every week almost. In the session that I usually look, there's no question. So let's move on. You're going to get a few minutes for free for your day. I really appreciate that you came and joined us. We are data geeks, even though Clark is not there yet, but we're trying to pull him in. But we're here to help. We're here to listen to you guys. We're here to hear your challenges with BI and reporting, and then share some of our knowledge over the years. If DataSelf is a good fit for you, you'll love working with us. We are a bunch of fun data geeks. We love what we do. We care about our clients. We do our best. We're not perfect, but I don't see any other company in the mid-market, BI company in the mid-market, that is effective and as fun to work with as DataSelf. Clark, any other thoughts from you?
I might not be a data geek, but I am concerned about data, and that's one of the things I appreciate about this. If those of you out there listening in, you've probably tried to roll your own data reporting over the years, try to come up with your own solutions. I did that for 20 plus years, coming up with my own solutions. And DataSelf and I, Joni and I have talked for over a decade, and the value of having something pre-designed that you have a whole team of people managing, you can get productivity out of it almost immediately. That was worth a lot to me, and that's part of what drew me to DataSelf, and I'm glad to be here, even if I'm not quite a data geek.
We're trying. We're trying to slowly convert Clark. When he joined us, he would never say "cool" for anything. Nowadays, quite often he say, "Oh, it's cool." So we're like, "Yay!"
Some of the things are cool, yeah.
All right, okay, folks. Thanks for
you.
joining us, and have a wonderful day. Stay safe and well. Thank you.
Bye-bye.